Hello, ladies. Hi, Madnuts. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Elaine. Thank you for making it. So, I thought because pretty much every year, towards the end of summer, I do a mokume gane that is themed with summer. Hi, MCat. But this time I'm going to change a little bit in the idea that I'm going to use Cernit this time, not Premo. And to show you exactly what colors these are, let me go on the PolyClay Play and show you exactly here what I've been using, what I'm going to use actually. This is, one of them is antique gold, and then green gold, then the metallic turquoise, I think. No, this is not the turquoise, this is the steel. The yellow. Here's the teal. Maybe she doesn't have the teal. Yeah, so we'll get the turquoise or the turquoise gold, more likely. So this is what I am using, and I'm going to do two things, two different mokume ganes. Hi, Jennifer. I'm not sure if I said Karen. Hi. Hi, Mona. Hi, Skywalker. Okay, now for the first one, it's going to be a stamped mokume gane, and I have everything that is here is pretty much on, let me see, what did I use, because I'm going to go much thinner. I used a 4 on a Makins, and I am going to use an 8. Today, unusual for the latest lives, I reopened the door to the craft room because somebody's got the zoomies, and if I don't leave the door open, he's going to sit there and meow at the door and bother me. Yes, I will be bringing him. Hi, Kanchana. So, you notice that I have the green gold double, so let me make a little stack here. So one slice of green, and then I'm going to use the yellow, and let's give it the red. What you need to take into consideration is that under this slice of green, it's going to be the last color, so I'm going to set it to be the gold. Let's do the second, oops, the second green. And the gold. Oops. So honestly, it doesn't really matter a lot. Just make sure that you have a lighter, kind of like lighter darker, lighter, darker, and so on. Okay, now first thing I need to do is to cut and restack, because I want these to be much thinner than they are. Yeah, it's finally it rained here too, and today the high is supposed to be only 77 degrees, so I'm like, yay. Okay, and I'm going to do this to get it to the thickest setting. Again, on the makings, and you know that on the makings the thickest setting is a little bit thicker than the thickest setting on other machines. So I did this once, and then I'm going to do it once again. And the second part of this will be, because I've heard so many times, and I've been sent messages about, I love mokume gane, but it's always, I have all the outsides and a lot of stuff that's left over, and when it's cheaper clay, I'm okay with it, but when it's more expensive clay, really makes me want to cry in this day and time. And I'll show you what you can do. A good contrast. What brand of clay are we talking about, Elaine? Try to restart, Adelaide, because I have excellent connection, so it shouldn't. It might be something with your internet connection. Okay, now let me check how I am here. It's almost, I'm not gonna put it through the machine again. I'm going to just give it some of this. Oops. Okay, do you want metallic or regular? So let's see. In the Cernit regular, you have to choose if you want the pink to be stronger or if you want the orange to be stronger. For the orange being stronger, you have this English pink that is a pale pink, and the fuchsia in Cernit is quite light as well, not like the one in Premo. And then you can use the orange with the English pink and the fuchsia with peach in Cernit. If you have, let me make sure that you, metallic. Okay, let's go to metallics. So to start with, you don't have an actual orange in the metallic. So what you need to do, you can do a pink gold and mix some rust with some yellow or again mix some rust with some yellow, and then mix some magenta with pearl white, but then you'd go like a 1 part magenta with 3 parts white. And if we go Premo, again you'll have to make some combinations because the colors do not exist in the Premo. You don't have orange and stuff like that unless you buy one of these options. But you can always mix. She doesn't have the yellow, or we don't have the yellow yet. No, never mind, we don't have the yellow yet. Mix some cadmium yellow with magenta, and then cadmium yellow with gold. But I'd go rather with Cernit. Awesome. Hi Colleen. Hi Darla. The mud clay is not gray really. It's brownish, like a grayish brown. This is the color of mud clay. Of various, sometimes it's lighter, sometimes it's darker. And it's normal because if you mix all the colors, obviously you'll get the brown. Alright, now on top of these I'm going to do some stamping. Let's see. I want to use this. The thing is that you have to be very, very firm when you stamp, and remember, my hands are not that terrific when it comes to stamping, so I hope I do a good job. Yay, I did it. Okay, let's grab another one. I'm doing good. I'm so proud of myself. Okay, let's get the oak leaf. No, you can throw it away, but you can keep it. Depends on how much it is. You can keep it and use it for mud clay. So this one here. And let's put a little, the itty bitty one here and there. I'm going to have to be very careful when I... Awesome. What clay did you use for it? Okay, and I think I'm pretty good. Now most of this will not look like this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a double use of this. Okay, so now here I have some Premo black. I mean, I don't have enough Cernit black, so Yes, Cernit is great, but Premo it can be just as good, you know. It depends on how well you conditioned it, how well you baked it, and the thickness of it. Because if you make it too thick, it's not going to. But if you really want to make very flexible stuff, I recommend that you get some PolyClay and then cover it with Cernit. All right, now comes the shaving part. And again, I'm using a paper towel with Armor Roll. You know, talking about Armor Roll, somebody told me, oh, but it's kind of expensive. Well, I still have a bit over half of this, and I think I bought it in 2016, end of 2016, beginning of 2017. So considering how little you're using, it's going to last you for a long time. Hi, Francis. Okay, so always make sure that your blade is well. Alrighty. And actually, just to give it some extra oomph, let's make some just to feel the not to have too much empty space there. Alrighty, now so grab it like this, plop it over. I made a mess. Let me try and reconstitute it. The thing is that, remember, this is Cernit metallic, so once it gets baked, it's going to look fabulous. Because I got cocky. The wipes sometimes don't work as good as the paper towel, for the simple reason that you can get fibers off of them. Yeah, the shaving part is the coolest. I totally agree. I'm not gonna try and do a whole leaf at a time anymore, because obviously I can't. dropped one. It was funny. At one point I got a question in my inbox on Facebook from somebody who was like, how come when you do your pre-recorded video tutorials you don't show when you mess up, but when you do the lives you mess up a lot? For a moment I was like, say what now? Of course I answered, because I don't show you when I mess up. Why would I want my video to be longer just to show you how I mess up? Everybody messes up. You don't have to show it to you. Besides, go and look in my about section on YouTube, and it says there that I'm disabled, that I might have days when I can show you how it should be done, but I'm not gonna be able to do it myself. So, just a troll. Okay, last one. And do I have any more room for it? Let's put it here. And now I'm not going to bother anymore with that, with the black thing. Going to just remove layers here. And there we go. And I think this should kind of be it. After which comes the awesome job of burnishing. So first use your fingertips, and then use the acrylic block, because you need to press down. You don't want to mess up the mica particles on top. You want them to go down, not be pushed to the other way, to the side, because it changes the way it's going to look. And again, the wax paper is going to help you, because it's going to show you where you need to insist, because that's where it's white, where it's not stuck to the clay. That means you have a depression in the clay there. Excuse me. Of course I do have some allergies now. And once I get enough flatness, that is when I'm going to start burnishing circularly. I'm not there yet. See how I still have some stuff here. Well, you know, it depends if you're more from the British English side or from the American English side, because think about it. In British English, armor is spelled with O-U-R, the same as color, as neighbor, and all that. While in American English, it's spelled with O-R. I'm telling you, the first time I came to the US, because I had learned British English, and it took me a while to get used to certain spellings here, as well as to certain meanings, you know. I can tell that the hardest thing to get used to, from the point of being a European coming to the US, the hardest thing to get used to was the date. Because remember, the US is the only country that writes the date month, day, year. The rest of the world writes it day, month, year. So for a long time, whenever I had in 99, so yeah, I've been here for more than 1/3 of my life. Sometimes it's funny because obviously I still kept a little bit of accent, even if people don't know where to place me, really, because I don't have a specific East European accent. And everybody's been pestering me, never lose your accent because it's so neat. But the other thing that I had to get used to when I moved to Oklahoma was with the Oklahoma accent, and especially the one in southeast Oklahoma is very, very strong. And I cracked up at one point when this guy hears me speak, then looks at me and he's like, "Oh, you have an accent." Oh no, you don't tell. But anyway, sometimes it happens when I talk to a cashier or, you know, wait, or stuff like that, you know, normal interaction. And if I don't pay attention to use the more Oklahoma accented stuff, they are like, "Oh, where are you from?" And I tell them. And they're like, "Oh, and how do you like it here?" And I'm looking at them, and you do realize that I've been an American citizen longer than you've been alive? How do you like it here? You know, I mean, I find it hilarious. And it's a very, very, very stupid question in my opinion. Number one, it's very personal. You know. Number two, it's kind of useless because generally speaking, people don't stay in places they don't like. You know, if they can go somewhere else. And again, the personal thing, why is that any of your business? Yeah, and honestly, I'm going to tell you something, and it's not like I'm trying to put myself on a pedestal or anything, and it also probably because of my upbringing. I mean, being the daughter of a teacher and the professor being the universal literature, I can say honestly that my vocabulary is more extensive than the one of the average American. And I'm not talking about highly educated Americans. I'm talking about the average American. Okay. Okay, this is good to do stuff. Now, it might not look as fancy right now, but remember that all metallics and pearlescents, what they are actually mica, sometimes mica plus pigment in translucent. So Cernit being a clay that has the translucent opaque when it's still raw, you don't see the full beauty of it until it is baked. Oh yes, absolutely. And sometimes even for certain Americans it's very hard to place them. And I noticed that being the most valid for military people, because they get shuffled around, you know, the TDY thing. I know, right? It's like, you didn't notice that before. But that's the main thing, that people cannot really tell where I'm from. Oh, thank you, Kim. Because I don't have a specific accent. A lot of times, because especially if they see my last name, they're like, oh, you're German? No, I don't, but I'm going to bake them and I'm going to show them on a short video on Facebook so that you can see exactly what we are talking about. Okay, now the second burnishing. So yeah, but people ask me if I'm German because they see burnt and are like, oh, you're German. No, this is my ex-husband's last name, and because when I entered the US with his last name, it would have been a pain to change it, and I'd have to change all my IDs and all my everything. So he didn't mind me keeping the name, so I'm a burnt even if I'm not a burnt. Alright, at least I know for a fact that I am the only person in the US and maybe in the whole world with this combination of first and last name. So ha ha. And remember, when you're burnishing, do not roll, rub. Especially because that's another thing that I've been telling you, that it's valid for the mica shift. Excuse me. It's valid for the mica shift, but it's also valid for mokume gane made with metallics or pearlescents. And that is after it's baked, sand just the very, very, very top. Thank you. I don't know for how long, but just the very, 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 very top layer. I mean, use like a 600 or even an 800 before you start buffing, because whatever change in the direction of the mica particle, it will happen only on the very top layer as long as you don't roll. Okay, so you're going to remove by finely sanding that very, very thin top layer, and you're going to get to the better thing. Thank you. I am glad I do. It is a much better the the barometer is not as bad overall. And the other thing is that, I mean, remember I was telling you that yesterday the barometer was under 30 and it was like 29.69, and see, now it's 30.07, even if we do have, let me see, we do have rain, and it's quite a bit of rain going on, but as I said, the barometer is 30 and above, so that's why I feel better. I don't have to take. My first name is specific Romanian, Doina, but generally speaking Americans cannot pronounce it, so everybody knows me as they. So I could have changed my name again when I got my citizenship, but again I didn't want to have to go through everything, and then I was worried, you know, with all these issues that happen when data is transferred, when everything is transferred. So yeah, my first name in Romanian means sad longing ballad. Longing ballad special. Alrighty, so this would be, why am I using this short one when I have a long one? I don't know. Okay, so this would be the second one. And before I start doing anything, because I was very strongly advised that people are missing seeing the floof. So let me go grab the floof so you can see the floof. The floof was sleeping with the other floof. There he is, the floof. That's the floof. Aki, aki. He loves to have the upside of his head kissed. But yeah, I'm going to put him back in his little bed. He's upset. Seamus is sleeping too, but Seamus is too heavy for me to lift like that. Alrighty, now let's go ahead and start making stuff with it. Let me see, do I have enough baking things here? I do. They're not perfectly clean. I've been doing all kinds of things for the hopefully soon destashes. Hi Sandra. Because once the weather is not that hot, as soon as the weather is not that hot, I'll do the destash. I didn't want to do destashes when the weather is hot because I don't want the the canes that I put in there to get baked, you know. And I know that you all want my canes, so I cannot send these stashes without canes. Alrighty, so let me see. I actually like this. It almost looks like it's floating over water. This is also neat. So let me see if I get this here to have a little bit of similarity. So this would be good. Where's my, there we go. Okay. So this would be one pair. And I'm going to resin one of the pairs, even if it's not the full look like it is with Premo, it's going to still show you some give you an idea of how this whole thing looks. But then I have something else that's up for baking here, and I need to move it so I can make room for something else. There we go. Okay. Let me see, maybe I got two that are too big, but we'll see here in a minute. Do I want more of this? I want more of this, and then I can use this one here. And it's preferable to put it with the sharp side down. Alrighty. Well, what I can tell you is that they are relatively expensive, especially if you get the standard one. The standards have the very short legs. Finnegan's legs are almost normal, so he's a non-standard. You can get a non-standard anywhere from 500 to even up to 1200, but it depends where you get it from. But a standard can be as much as 3,000 if it's a champion. But if you really want something like that, contact me and I can give you the information of some really good catteries. And one of the best catteries is that I know of is not here in the US, it's in the UK. And she even has a, yes, I do. If you look in my about, I'm not very active in groups. That's why I'm not part of groups, because with the little time I have, not being sleepy or in pain, I realize that groups eat too much of my time. So whenever somebody sends me a group invite, I always refuse, unfortunately. But that's the reason, not because I don't appreciate them or anything. I just, but yeah, I do have, and it has some extra whatchamacallit, extra tips and advice and stuff like that. I think it is just you make sure that you enable it, because when you open the video it comes by default, it doesn't show. But the other thing is, it depends when you want to look at it later, because it takes a while for the whole thing to process. If you want to watch it an hour or two, or the same within 24 hours, the chat disappears on replays. Huh. That is because I enable it. I'll have to make sure that it is enabled, because maybe YouTube did again something to not automatically enable. Normally it's automatically enabled. Huh. I'll have to check it next time I show something. Okay, and let's do one more with this, because I don't want to start getting tired and not be able to show you the final part of everything. So let me get this one. And this one I can place on the other one that is on the there we go. So as you can see, it can come up both ways. Now let's see what we can do with all these remnants. Of course, you know, my most favorite method of everything is chop, 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 right? I don't know, then it's not nothing that I can do, it's YouTube. Yeah, the unlisted ones disappear. It's a matter of privacy. They automatically disappear. Yeah, exactly. If you want to see the whole chat, scroll all the way to the end of the video, and then you can scroll up in the chat. But otherwise it will not. Okay, and I'm going to make a tiny one just to be, because I don't have more. This is all I got for now. Actually, nah, I'm not gonna use what's left. I might use a piece or two, after all. I guess it also depends what you're watching it on, because I can tell you something, on if I watch on my tablet, it doesn't show chat replay, and I cannot enable it. There's no function there for me to enable it. If I watch on the PC or on my phone, and the phone is an Android exactly like the tablet, I can watch. And on my Fire tablet also I can watch. So okay, so I did this. Then my next thing will be to get a very thin piece of black, very thin, super duper thin. And actually. And then I'm going to grab some yellow mellow, of the metallic, of course. To use more than I need. So this is on an 8 on Makins. So I got this, and I'm going to go with it again on the same thickness, on a very thin. Now you see I have a ton of it, so it was supposed to be 4 full, but oh well. I went a little bit too wide. Alrighty, now come here. You already can tell, huh? And my eyeglasses. So I'm going to cut this in 4, obviously. And place. I didn't need 4 of those, I needed only 3. I'm miscalculating, I'm starting to get tired. About 280. The only one that I bake at higher temperature is Pardo. I bake it at 300. So remember, this is all bits and pieces of leftovers that you can use. And I did a mess here. I placed it where I wasn't supposed to place it. All right, now I make sure that it's well flattened, and I'm going to grab one of these calyx things. Remember, these are cutters to cut the calyx of a rose if you make flowers. Might need some help to remove the clay from inside. Remember, Cernit is a little bit sticky. So I know I should have put some Armor All on the cutter, and I forgot. get out. Get out. I'm gonna have some extra deformation that I wasn't planning on, but this is all my fault because I didn't put armor roll on the cutter. And there we go. It's gonna still be pretty, even so. And let's give it some dotting. And it goes all the way through. So I'm going to simply slice it like I would a cane. And as I said, it's not something that you can see in all its beauty while it's unbaked yet, but once it gets baked, it's going to be very pretty. You can also do some waves using a ripple blade. But anyway, this is going to go onto making a bracelet. And I need to refocus here so you can, so you can see everything that's going on in there, because it's very delicate. There you go. So once all this is going to be baked and buffed, it's going to look very different. Okay, I did not schedule for today the finishing the hoops, because honestly, number one, I still had a lot of stuff to do in the garden because it got a little bit cooler. So I was able to work more in the garden, not end at 8:30 and be already because of how hot it was. But also I didn't manage to talk to Anna yet, because I'm still trying to see if we cannot do a double live, because she's just such an expert in making beading stuff, and we can do something that would be kind of like combined. I didn't want to take any allergy medicine before the live, but it's obviously the rain kind of stirred up some pollen and stuff. So okay, so there we go. We have some really nice. And talking about this, I think that actually I'm going to have to schedule one, but I'm going to schedule it for fall because it looks better with fall colors. I'm going to schedule something that is in this style for fall, and you'll see it is absolutely gorgeous. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it and you will try it. If you do not have Cernit and you want to try these colors, you can make the colors with Premo. So in order to make the yellow, you use like 1/3 cadmium yellow, 2/3 white pearl. In order to do we already have a blue, but mixing it, if you don't have the blue Premo metallic, first of all, if you don't have the blue Premo metallic, again, use a combination of ultramarine plus white pearl. If you do have the blue metallic, add just a pinch of green to it, and also add a little bit of green to gold to obtain this. And we already have the antique gold. Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to bake these. I don't know when I'm going to show it, but I'm going to do a little show off on Facebook after this is baked and it's all good to go. And I'll post some photos in the community tab. Okay, thank you so much. See you next Sunday, and hopefully we'll finish the ear hoops. If not, I'll show you something else, and we'll postpone it one more time until I manage to talk to Anna. Okay, thank you. Have a wonderful week to come, and much rain for all of you. Bye.